now appears like Mike Pence has had some classified documents found in his residence. Obviously that follows the former President Trump and Joe Biden. And it really brings up a lot of questions. First of all, what should be classified, what shouldn't be? I've heard we've classified almost 1 billion documents or something ridiculous. And so I guess I just want to get your thoughts on, where should the line be on classified documents? And, some of the MAGA crowd has tried to get, Nikki Haley had this false equivalency where she tried to say that what Donald Trump and Joe Biden did were the same thing, where they couldn't be more opposite. So I just love to get your thoughts on the whole process and the whole chain of events.
Well, I agree that it is not the same because Donald Trump had the right as the president to declassify, and Joe Biden as the vice president did not. So what Joe Biden did was much worse.
That's the only difference, huh?
I'm trying to answer your question, my friend. And then Mike Pence, as I understand it, what they found was basically a travel log and some briefing materials for a trip he was taking. For me, I travel light. I tend to not take documents from wherever I'm at just because I don't want to deal with the mess, and I like digital. I think some of this is a generational thing.
Yes.
Why have so many documents to begin with? Why kill so many trees? I don't like documents. I don't even have a printer in my house. I go somewhere off site if I need to print something. So I think that will solve a lot of these problems, is just a more lean digital approach to things at the end of the day.
Well, and again, but the main difference between Joe Biden is that he has cooperated. He actually had the FBI come and search his place. The difference, Donald Trump refused. And by the way, you can't just you can't just classify things posthumously, to partially misuse a word there. You can't say after you're out of the office, well, I classify that, I classify this. The main difference is that Donald Trump was asked repeatedly to return the documents. He didn't. He said that then they'd all been returned. They weren't. They asked him, and they finally had to go and retrieve the documents. That's the difference. Joe Biden has cooperated the whole time. Now, again, being totally fair, that does not excuse. It was very careless what Joe Biden has done, and you don't store documents in the garage by your Corvette. Okay, so believe me, Joe Biden is not innocent on this, but the difference is that, as in so many cases, he cooperated, and if it weren't for that god awful press secretary, God, I miss Jen Psaki. At least, press secretaries, at least they should be good at their job. And John Pierre has got to be the worst press secretary in the history of the White House. So I think a lot of it gets muddled, but it was mainly just that was the main difference. But I think the main question is we should ask, why are we classifying all this stuff? The president's itinerary is classified. Okay, after he's had that day, it doesn't need to be classified. Why are we classifying all these documents?
Well, I don't have that power, but I generally agree with you that the more government power you give, the more likely there are going to be problems and trip ups. So yeah, shrink the size of government. I think we can agree on that.